You know, it's similar to what like our friend Kyle was explaining the other day, how energy like tries to like go
Find
through
the path
the
of least
path of least resistance, but like you say, fuck it, I'm gonna break my limits and I'm gonna be better, you know?
The hero's journey.
Yeah. The European guy making faces. He's not European anymore, never mind. Brexit. Demoted. I'm in an industry that a lot of sacrifice is required, you know, to be successful. And I just want to improve the conditions, giving or creating tools that will allow the process to be easier, you know?
The teaching of Aristotle, to be free or have sovereignty, you can't just do whatever you want. There's like a level of discipline that comes at the sacrifice of time to actually have true freedom. For like the sake of the collective, not just for doing whatever you feel you can. So welcome to Are No Limits. We're the show that has no limit, and if you're compelled to redact any of the things you say, it can be redacted post-production. I'm here with our guest David Castro and our friend Memo Guzman. He's in the background.
It's a 3D.
He's just saying hi.
Oh,
yeah, you don't have a mic, but
shit.
You're eating. He's here. And Luna, right there. So today's guest, we have a culinary artist, gastronomic researcher, I guess a bit of a psilocybin experimentalist, world traveler, spiritual explorer, inquisitive mind, and entrepreneurial spirit.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, so how are you doing, David?
I'm doing very well, actually, very good. Honestly, I feel that life is giving me all the opportunities for me to learn what I need to learn, to be able to do what I want to do. And yeah, man, like sometimes it's stressing, right? Sometimes challenges are stressing, but that's the only way you'll learn. So I guess that sometimes we ask for things, and then when we're in the things that's gonna allow us to have those things that we ask for, we complain, right?
Right.
But like, yeah, just learn to be present and realize that what I'm going through, it's part of my process, part of the plan. And yeah, man, I feel that I just want to keep learning. Of course, that requires effort. I don't think you can learn something if you don't put attention into it.
Right.
You need to put more energy. I wouldn't say effort, but like it's just putting more energy towards something that you want to make happen, right? Mm-hmm. And yeah, man.
Strap in, guys. We're going to go into a bit of a deep dive. Like, share, subscribe, and remember that in this life, there are no limits. But from your life, let's start from the get-go. We are here in Cancun, if you guys didn't know.
Cancun, Mexico.
In David's hometown.
Yeah, it's my home for
Where you
sure.
grew up.
I mean, I was not born here, but like I grew up here. Yeah.
It's hometown.
Yeah.
Hometown. So, this is the house you grew up in?
No, this is not the house I grew up in. Oh. This is the third house I've lived.
Damn, ballers. Big G.
Yeah.
Juan, right?
Juan. Yeah, my dad.
Big G.
Yeah.
So, as you can see, obviously, there's no small feat of engineering happening in this house, which was your dad's work, right?
Yeah.
So,
my dad's an architect.
Architect, Big G, Cancun living.
Built this house.
So, tell us, what was it like growing up? I guess in your first, second, and third house in the area.
I'm the middle child.
Okay.
I always shared rooms with my little brother wherever we lived until we moved here, of course. But like 6 months after that, I moved to Spain.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so it was recent. This is a recent build.
Yeah, we moved here 2017.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like not so long ago. Mm-hmm. But I would say growing up in Cancun was like very gracious, you know? I feel that it's a place, like honestly, we lived in a very family-focused neighborhood, you could say. Like I used to hang out with different generations, older people, younger people. I used to hang out with like people 5+ years older than me. And I also used to hang out with people 5 less years older than me. So, and I guess that's because of my 2 brothers, you know? And I always felt like I had more, you could say, more connected to people older than me. I think that's the case even today. That's why, you know, yeah, 26, you're 30.
30. Yeah, gray. I'm 30, bro. Yeah, all the gray hairs from being vegan.
And like life was just very good.
Would you say you were always kind of independent? Because that's the type of person.
Oh yeah, I was definitely always independent. Like even when I was little, I had the entrepreneurship spirit. My first business was like a shaped ice cream.
Yeah, you told me, yeah.
Yeah, I used to like just buy like horchata concentrate, Jamaica concentrate, and I had this machine to shape ice. I was like, 50 peso. Send it.
So obviously you've always had an entrepreneurial spirit, but was it always in food? Was there always a culinary aspect to it?
Yeah, man. Food was always there for me. I've been a very curious person all my life, and I've always loved to create. Definitely to create stuff. I was a musician. I remember I used to paint when I was little. I stopped doing it. But like I feel that everything that allowed me to create something for the world, be music, be food, drawing. I remember when I used to take notes in school, I will always do drawings like about the topic we were talking about. I wish I could see the notebooks, because like if we were talking about space, I wouldn't take notes. I would just fucking draw.
Was that how you were like remembering stuff?
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
And since I'm like a very visual person and like I like to make stuff with my hands, I think it's changing a little bit like at this point in my life. But like back then, definitely to answer your question, yeah, I feel food has always been part of me. Even when I was little, I used to be a picky eater. Like you can ask my parents, like I used to hate.
I believe it. You're pretty fucking
I used to hate McDonald's. I remember one time my cousins were here visiting from Colombia, and they wanted to go eat, and my aunt was like, "Oh, let's go to McDonald's." I was like, "No, I'm not fucking going there." And I got mad. And they dropped them off at McDonald's, but I hid in the trunk of the car because I knew my parents were going to another restaurant, like a fancier restaurant, and I want to go there with them. And I remember when we arrived to the restaurant that they were like going to, I came down and they saw me like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" Kicking my ass back to McDonald's.
Dave was trying to escape the Matrix early.
Yeah, and I remember my favorite food since little was like lobster, lasagna, like very fancy food. Like Gordon Ramsay says like, you're like a good palate you cannot be born with, but trained, right? But I feel like some people just get genetically gifted, you know, to have a higher perception of like stuff, you know. It can be like your ear, your side, your smell. I think for me it was smell and taste. I feel that I perceive more than the average person in terms of, yeah.
Mine's audible.
Yeah, for sure.
What was the sentiment driving the food though? Like obviously you're a kid, so you don't really think about it super deep. You kind of just gravitate towards what you like. But as you started developing further in your career, without getting super deep into the details of it, like what was the thing that made you feel like this is for me? Like this is kind of what I enjoy. So when I was little, I used to spend my time either in nature, and I remember I used to watch like in the TV. I wouldn't watch like I was watching anime for sure. Anime is like something important for me, but like I was watching either stuff about nature, animals, or about food. I remember I used to watch like a show from this guy that owns a bakery in New Jersey, like Bake Boss, I think. And I used to write down the recipes, and then I would cook them. Like that's one of the memories that I have, just like spending time watching either nature or cooking. And of course I felt like cooking was a way to sort of like bring nature to my hands and to like my own power of transformation and creation, you know? So I've always had this perception that understanding nature will help you be a better cook. Yeah. Was there anyone in your family that was particularly culinary or like kitchen savvy.
Yeah, like my grandma for sure.
I was gonna say like she's pretty boss.
My grandma for sure. She would
She's
always.
right there, guys. If you can't see her, I mean, you probably can't see her. She's right there.
Yeah.
Just kick it.
I think that like she was the one that always cooked for us when we were little. Like compared to what other friends of mine used to eat, like we were like, not to brag, but like it's just another fucking level, you know. I mean, Memo can be like Memo is like a testimony of that. Like, every time he comes here, he's like, "Whoa, bro, what the fuck is this?"
She was actually telling me. She was telling me just like a lot of David's friends when they were really young would come over and they didn't want to leave, or they'd come over specifically because they wanted to eat good food here. And the first person that popped in my head was I was like, I wonder if he was one of those guys.
Actually, I was not one of those people that.
You know?
I am now.
Yeah, dude, me too.
I remember that whenever we were going to go to a kid's party, my mom would make us eat always before going to like a party, because it was typical that when you go to a kid's party, you'll get either like frozen burgers or like pasta with ketchup and mayonnaise. Like that will be the food you will eat. And my mom used to hate that. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, every time I like brought someone to my house when I was little, they will be like, "Bro, what the fuck is this food?" I'm like, "Bro, this is just normal for me." Yeah.
This different standard. I mean,
Oh, I actually just got a flashback. I do remember going to your place once in the place we live with Milton.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember going to that place and having picadillo for lunch.
Yeah.
And that was the first time that I had plantain with...
In the other house?
Yeah, in the other house.
Yeah.
And that was the first time that I had plantain
with rice and...
With rice, like with salty food instead of
like a dessert. Yeah, because here in Mexico we eat it with like cajeta and like leche condensada and stuff like that.
Yeah, like super sweet. And that fucking blew my mind, man. Okay. Yeah, that's great. Great memory.
So,
and I think of course that has an influence in my love for cooking. And I used to be the kid in primary school that will go to school with the best lunch. And I will actually sell my lunch to make money, bro.
This dude.
Yeah. And like, even teachers will buy my fucking lunch, bro.
Entrepreneur at heart.
I used to sell cookies. I used to sell cupcakes.
Well, now you're making me think. Okay, so you were always into food. You had a very early upbringing of understanding food and the difference in contrast between what you were fed, what you were taught how to cook. Did you start wanting to be an entrepreneur because your dad was on the grind, or did you kind of feel when you were younger that like you could have more money and you guys could do something and you needed more money, or why would you always try to go down the entrepreneurial route? I guess a better question is like, what was the difference between the first house and the third house? You know, like what were the financial brackets that you guys were at as a family?
I mean, honestly, I never had like an impression of lacking stuff.
No?
Never, bro. I don't think I ever had that perception. I think it has more to do with my character, the fact that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And maybe it has to do that I'm the middle child, right? Maybe I've always been the one with the least attention, and maybe I just wanted to like be better subconsciously.
Right.
And also has to do with my character, because like I'm a very hard-headed person. I don't like
you are.
I don't like people telling me what to do.
I love that about you, though.
And like even to this day, like I make my own decisions. Of course, I listen to the people that love me, but I still like make my own decisions. So yeah, I think that's where it comes from, like the entrepreneurial spirit. Yeah.
Did that
from like at this point it's more so that I want to leave an impact, but not because I want to be recognized, more that I would just want to leave tools that humanity can use for the betterment of their lives, you know. I'm in an industry that it's a lot of sacrifice is required, you know, to be successful. And I just want to improve the conditions, creating tools that will allow the process to be easier, you know?
Do you know, I forget what it's called, but it's like the teaching of Aristotle to be free or have sovereignty, you can't just do whatever you want. There's like a level of discipline that comes at the sacrifice of time to actually have true freedom. For like the sake of the collective, not just for doing whatever you feel you can want. I don't know if you remember the name. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I feel like that's kind of like a archetypal thing that most people intrinsically understand, especially if they're like their mom ingrains like nourishing, loving, and wholesome upbringing.
Yeah. And you know what? Now that you mentioned this, I think we talked about this the other day. Like, I've always had this very clear notion of spiritual clarity, meaning that I've always known the purpose. I mean, not necessarily always, but I've always had this notion of knowing why I was doing what I was doing, even from little age. I used to remember like thinking, I need to serve people, you know?
You think that's from your faith?
Right, I've had these thoughts when I was like 6, 7 years old. Maybe like, yes, it came from my faith, but like the way it was like ingrained in my, like you could say, spirit, I think it's like something that God gave to me.
It could be
from
kind of
the beginning.
synergistic.
Yeah.
Like it helps fuel your faith, and then also your faith helps fuel that.
Yeah.
So at what point did you get to like start exploring like research or studying food?
My first official cooking course was when I was probably 6.
That's pretty young.
Yeah, I was 6 and I went to this like chef school. They were offering like a summer class. I used to be hyperactive. Hyperactive.
That's a word of the day.
Like you can ask my dad. He will come back from work and I will be like between 2 walls, just like a spider, bro. Like just doing weird shit. And since they put me on that like cooking class, I was just got obsessed with cooking, and then like my energy.
Was that the class we met?
What?
Was that the class?
Yeah, that's where we met, bro.
Yeah.
That's
You guys
where we
met
met.
cooking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we chilled.
Yeah,
I didn't know
we
you were into cooking like
We
that.
were like
Cool, I am so good like that.
we were like 8, something like that, right?
Yeah, 8, 9.
6.
That's cool.
Yeah, that was like my first contact with cooking. Yeah, and I liked it a lot because you could do things with your hand. You could like create shapes. I remember we made empanadas, like the simple shit, like dough filling, and I was like, "Whoa, what the fuck, bro? I just made an empanada."
Just follow the steps. You know,
Yeah.
another thing I feel like I never really see you interact with online or like speak about is your background in martial arts, which I feel like definitely plays a huge role in your personality and your discipline, but mostly your personality. Because you're a pretty stoic dude. Like if I were to meet you just like right off the cuff with no context, like if I ran into you at Salt and Lime versus I went to go meet you at Salt and Lime, I would think that you're just pretty cold. Until I start talking to you, obviously. But when did you start doing martial arts, and how long did you do it for, and what exactly were you doing?
I started doing martial art, taekwondo. I had a Cuban professor. His name is Sergio. He was very strict.
Nice.
Like deep voice, like straight to the point. Cubans are like, stop fucking around, bro.
Got no time.
Get to work. I started when I was also like 6, 7 until I was 14, 15. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's a good stretch.
Yeah.
That was the start of like high school, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it got to a point in where I stopped liking it because I didn't like punching people. 'Cause I think that came from my idea of serving people, and if I was punching and hurting people, like it didn't make sense with my spirit. So at the end of it, like my martial arts career, I had a lot of problems with my dad forcing me to go when I didn't want to go, because I didn't want to like beat the crap out of people. And I was good though.
I bet you were though.
I was good.
I bet you were.
I was good.
I've seen you throw a few kicks, good ones and bad ones.
Yeah, bad ones. I mean, it's
Play the clip. Totally have it.
fatality.
It's gonna be so funny. So, you have some martial arts background. You're getting into culinary. You start ramping up. You know, let's speed run through high school. You're going through high school. What are you thinking when it's almost time to graduate and you're looking at colleges?
I knew that I wanted to study gastronomy or to be a chef. I mean, it's not to be a chef. I think that's a very narrow way to describing it, because I feel that if you study gastronomy, you can dedicate your life to many different industries, you know?
Yeah. It's multifaceted for sure.
Hospitality, manufacturing, industry, R&D, lab, research, wine. You have like cheese, you know, have infinity of like industry that you can dedicate your life to.
Right. I guess at this point, like, what were you thinking when you had all these options presented to you? Like, where did you want to go?
I mean, yeah. What I was going with this is that I knew that I wanted to study this from my second year of junior high school. I was like 15 probably when I decided. And I just kept cooking, bro, from that. Like.
So when
know,
you were in this flow, what made you pick Spain to go to school? And what was the name of the school again?
A Basque Culinary Center.
So, what?
Basque
Basque.
Culinary Center. Honestly, bro, it was just, at that time, the best chefs in the world were sponsoring the school. And which meant that the school had connections with the best restaurants in the world. And actually the chefs from the best restaurants in the world helped the school develop the educational program for the school. So to me, that was like, that's the best school in the world, you know, to study like.
You gotta strive for the best.
To study like food, you know. So I chose this school when I was in exchange year in the United States in 2015.
Okay.
Yeah.
2015.
I guess that's something that I need to share as well. The first time I flew by myself ever was when I was 14 years old and I went to Germany. And that definitely, you know, like from like 14 till you're like 23, 24, you create like your perceptions and understandings of the world. I don't think you really become like conscious about why you do the things you do.
Sure.
It's like a process, and some people take longer, right? But I feel that you start building those ideas at that time. You start getting like
an idea,
a higher level of consciousness about your surroundings, you know?
Definitely.
The fact that I had that chance when I was very young, it really gave me like a perspective about, and I guess curiosity about getting to know different cultures, different understandings, different ideas on how the world works.
Just by immersing yourself in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because like from Mexico to Germany, bro, it's a fucking big difference. Different educational systems, different like customs. People start drinking their beer at 16, you know.
Yeah.
They smoke weed. It's different. It's just different, you know. So that was the first time I did that. That was for like 4 months. Then I did an exchange year, complete year, to the United States when I was 16 to 17 years old.
Boston?
No, that was Ohio.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah, this was
Ohio, 2016.
still high school.
High school, yeah.
Yeah, break it down for...
I was 11 months. I was hosted by 3 families.
Okay.
So like that was also very like important in the learning process, you know. You're with 3 different families. It was with Rotary exchange program. And I mean, I went to the most mid place in the United States.
Ohio?
I'm sorry, Ohio.
Ohio, you suck.
It's the truth. I mean, what can I
spent some
say?
time in Columbus. Fuck you.
But like at that time, it was like, and that I also like traveling because it was like an opportunity to redefine who you are. Because you go to a new place, no one knows you. It's hard at the beginning, right? Because you feel insecure that no one knows you. You have no one to talk about.
You have to like present yourself.
You can switch it into like, okay, this is a chance to redefine who I want to be. And I feel that was the starting of like me realizing the power of my own mind and the capacity to decide who I want to be and the beliefs that I want to have that serve me towards becoming the person that I want, you know?
And that was still high school.
That was still high school, yeah.
Still high school. So I'm sure that took a whole nother turn when you were in Spain. Tell me, like, what did you graduate with? What was your main area of focus for culinary?
It was gastronomy and culinary sciences.
Okay.
Culinary arts and gastronomic sciences.
Okay.
I specialized in R&D, food development, like physical and chemistry properties of food, and how you can use like those properties to formulate products, food products, formulate recipes, formulate functional additives for food.
When did you get that brief moment of researching mycelium, and can you break that down?
There was a lot of influence from a professor that was super passionate about research. His name is Cipriano Carrero. Shout out Cipriano. He's still teaching in the Basque Culinary Center. And at that time, mycelium protein, mycoprotein is the correct term, was like booming. It was like a new innovation for more sustainable, yet very rich in nutrients meat substitute. Like our teacher Cipriano saw an opportunity there to create papers, like innovation papers, and publish like new research because it was like brand new.
Right.
And like I actually just fell in love with it because I started studying like mushrooms and their different functionalities in the world.
This was at Harvard, right?
This was in the Culinary Center at first.
Oh, okay.
It was like the beginning of like me going to Harvard. And yeah, man, I realized mushrooms are everywhere, are the most capable being and the most, you could say, adapted to survival. Because like they have just many different mechanisms to propagate and adapt to different conditions, situations, etc., etc. But I just fell in love with that because, of course, I saw this as a big opportunity to be able to create a more sustainable source of protein. And the studies like indicated that it was a very nutritious source of like protein as well. So, and of course that, you know, climate change, beef is not sustainable, all this
God.
I saw that as an opportunity, you know?
Okay, so you were a little bit of a philanthropist.
Yeah.
That's good.
And that motivated me, and I specifically, to do my research, chose a Mexican mushroom that grows in corn. Like one of the conditions to be able to use a mushroom for this type of research was that it was consumed already by humans.
¿Cómo se llama ese hongo?
Huitlacoche. Huitlacoche. Ustilagomydes. And
It's like a scientific term.
scientific terms, yeah. So that it will classify as a grass product, like generally perceived as safe to consumption, something like that.
Okay.
GRAS.
Oh, I see. Not like, I was thinking because corn is actually in the grass family.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I think the FDA is banning all the...
Corn is, yeah. It's a kernel, yeah.
Yeah. So basically the research entailed me optimizing the growth of the mycelium in different conditions, right, to see how I will get the most yield of the mycoprotein, and then studying that mycoprotein and its properties by understanding the compounds that build the mycelium and aromatic, structural compounds, etc., and see how I can transform those compounds through different like methods, cooking methods, fermentation,
Cleaning.
yeah, like different methods. I just tried like...
Do you remember what it was exactly that you could augment to make the yield go up for the nerds?
Yeah, it was... So basically the substrate, we did it in two different substrates. One was like a liquid substrate and one was like a dry substrate. For the dry substrate, we used like nixtamalized corn, literally.
Oh, nice.
That was like the best one. Because like when you nixtamalize corn, you basically break down the exocarp of the corn and you make the nutrients and the carbs of the corn more bioavailable.
I see. So
It's a similar thing that for us humans, you know?
right.
When we like tortillas made with nixtamalized corn, you absorb like the vitamins and the carbs better, unlike eating just the corn with the exocarp.
So that was the majority. We'll just,
I'll tell you in a bit.
so that was the predominant thing that changed the yielding was the preparation.
Yeah.
The fermentation of it.
The fermentation of it.
Can you actually, if people haven't seen episode 1, me and Lalo did about a 45-minute deep dive into nixtamalization.
Yeah.
Can you break it down in your own terms?
Easily?
You could be complex as you want, but like give it in the physical properties and also in like a historical.
Right.
Do you
So I'm more into physical properties.
Okay.
Historic wise, I mean, Aztecs. I'm gonna start with like I would say pre-Hispanic Mexican cultures used to use like bones, ashes, and like first of all to preserve the corn better, right? Because if you have the corn in an alkaline water bath, bacteria won't grow there. So like to preserve the corn, they will throw the corn in this bath to preserve it. What they didn't know, it was like nixtamalizing corn. And basically physical properties, what happens is that when you like change the pH level of the substrate that the corn is at, basically the exocarp just changes, its molecular structure changes and it like becomes less rigid, you could say. It just breaks down because of the alkaline properties of the substrate.
Would that be like the soluble fibers, like the walls of the corn? Like
so think of like a fiber, and when you put it in an alkaline like substrate or like substance, it just like breaks down a little bit. and the interior or the containings of that bubble of the exocarp becomes more available. And of course, since it opens, it also affects the starches inside the corn, which also change properties. Like to make it more clear, think of when you cook shrimp on like lime juice.
Okay.
The proteins changes structure and the shrimp cooks itself, you know. So like a denaturation process.
Or
It's
giving
that.
like gamey meat a milk bath or a vinegar bath to like break down the proteins
Yeah.
and change the.
In this case, it's not acidic, it's alkaline, you know. It's a base. You can also do this where you can like put protein in a basic substrate and it will also have like a denaturation. Because like molecules are stable at neutral pH, you know.
Right.
When you modify the pH, the structure of the molecules gets modified.
Right. Stop being such a nerd. Just relax. Let's go back to you're studying mushrooms. You're in Basque.
Yeah.
Who pushed you to Harvard? Who gave you like, hey man, you should do this?
Honestly, bro, it was me.
It was you?
It was
You
me.
just started looking around. You're like, where's my
next
trip?
I knew, Basque Culinary Center is in San Sebastian, Spain, in the Basque Country, northern part. And I saw that there was going to be like a scientific congress or conference in Barcelona about science. It's called like Science of Cooking World Congress. And I knew that Harvard was going to present something. And I was like, I'm going there and I'm talking to the person in charge so that I get a spot to do this in Harvard. I already knew like my research, and we've tried before with my professor to contact them through emails, but no emails were being responded. So I went there, I paid to enter the conference, and when they presented, like when they finished, I was like, this was amazing. My name is David, you probably seen my emails because I sent like, 50 plus emails. Like, I have this project, entails this, da. We built the whole thing with my professor. They're like, oh, this is super interesting. You should actually come to do it with us. And that was it. It was just asking.
So they just gave you the green light, like, hey, there's a spot this next semester, or what?
Yeah.
Nice. And then how long did you spend at Harvard studying?
February.
Give me the culture shock between Spain and Harvard.
Bro, honestly,
living.
at that point, I was like already used to traveling a lot and different, like, I lived in the US before, you know, it wasn't really a culture shock. I was just focused to perform in what I had to do.
Okay, maybe not the culture shock, but what about like the universities, the campuses, how they do?
That was insane, bro.
Let's do that.
Harvard had like 40 different buildings that you could just like walk in and grab like a perfect office with a crazy view. I used to be in the modern building. It was the Northwest building, I think, if I don't remember wrong. But it was basically nature and science research. And they used to have like fucking whale carcasses just like hanging on the
Nice.
on the ceiling. It was like a 20-foot floor building. And I used to go work at the top in an office like all the time. It was
Just because you could?
Yeah, you had like projectors, internet, like all the tools you need. You would ask and you will get it.
Nice.
And then they gave me my own lab for me to use, which was also insane because like there were machines that like cost like $1 million and it was just there for me to use.
There you go.
But it was definitely a challenge because like it was my first time doing like scientific research. So I had to learn a lot about statistics, citations, yeah, the scientific method, how to create hypotheses, how to like test the variables, different models of testing those variables. What are the conditions to make the variables valid, you know?
Do you have any places that people can look up and find your research?
No, but like if you text me on foodhub.io, I'll send it to you.
There you go.
Like it's fine.
This got started.
Actually, it's published. It's actually published.
I would imagine it should be.
Yeah.
That's
I don't remember where.
That's part of the process, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
You learn how to do research, follow the method, and teach you how to publish.
It is published. I don't remember where, but I can look it up.
Yeah.
I did like a poster.
I'll tag it below.
Yeah, I did like a poster about the growth optimization research because that was one part. And the second part was the application of that biomass, of the mycelium biomass. So it's a two-part research. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much how you closed out being at Harvard. How long were you there?
I was there from February until September.
Okay. Little stint, but I'm sure
Like 7 months. 7.
7 months to fuck shit up.
Yeah.
Nice, nice, nice. So,
It was definitely intense, just the first 4 months, because like when I arrived there, my counselor at the time, Pia Sorensen, shout out to Pia, you're amazing. She was like, David, I have this conference in Denmark in May. Do you want to present your research there? And I hadn't done shit. I had like 6 months to do this, but like the presentation was in May, and I was mid-February already. So February, March, April.
2.5 months.
So 3 months to do legit scientific research to present in one of the conferences that only happen once every 4 years about microbes and its applications. And Pia was one of the organizers, and she was like, "Oh, you should present this idea on here because it's very interesting." I was like, "Where do I sign for that shit?" And that forced me to learn a lot of shit in 3 months.
I'm sure.
Like the routine for that was like 4:30 a.m. for like 3 months consistently waking up, going to train, and just working from like 7 to like 10 p.m. and then repeat.
Is this when you lost a bunch of weight?
I didn't lose weight. Actually, like gained some muscle.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Well, there was a time where you said in school you like got.
That was when I had the bakery though. My first like real business.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's break that down. So you do your research. You go back to Basque.
No. That was like my thesis.
Okay.
Finish those school.
Right. So when did you start bouncing around between Galapagos, Korea?
Galapagos was right after Harvard.
Okay. So
Yeah.
tell us how you got in there.
So when I was like, what's the matter?
No, I can isolate the tracks.
When I was like done with Harvard, I had an opportunity to get a scholarship in the Netherlands to study biotech and continue the research with this mushroom. When I went there and asked for the scholarships, turns out it was just for people that had a European passport. So, and I'm Mexican. The European guy making faces. Oh, he's not European anymore. Never mind. Brexit.
Been demoted.
Bollocks.
So at that point, I had like a crisis because, like at that moment, the only thing I wanted to do was to research and to keep discovering new stuff and potentially create innovative stuff for the world. Like out of the blue, a friend of mine called me. He was like, "Bro, he's from Ecuador. Like, there's like these guys who own like the hotel Hilton. So from IHG, the hotel group, International Hotel Group, IHG, and they're gonna open a hotel in Galapagos. And this is a friend of mine that just is good at selling. Like he might have no idea about the topic that he's selling about, but he'll sell it.
Nice.
Like, he'll find a way.
It's a good salesman.
Yeah.
Sell fish or water to fish.
And he was like, "Bro, I have these guys, this opportunity. Do you want to jump into this?" I was like, "Yeah, bro, sounds fantastic." Next thing you know, we have a signed contract and my first consulting in Galapagos without ever opening a restaurant.
Well, the credentials kind of.
I had
pretty hard flex.
I had the experience of working in Michelin star restaurants. I had the experience of.
You had already worked Michelin by then?
Yeah.
So you were working while going.
Like every year, after each year in my school, it was 4 years. Harvard was the last year. You would do like internships.
I see.
So I went to 2 Michelin star restaurants in the first year. I went to Pujol and a 3 Michelin star restaurant in the second year. The third year was COVID, so it fucked up everything. And then the fourth year was Harvard. So I had a little bit of experience in like high-end restaurants and operations, but like had no experience in regards
Running a business.
opening a real restaurant. We sold the consulting, not knowing exactly how the process was like.
How'd it work out?
But like I'd say like we did more than we needed.
Okay, well, that's good.
Because like we thought about everything that we might need, of course from our previous experiences. And bro, in the span of like 1 month, we did like a manual like this thick, and we only used like 10% of that.
I see. So it's just overkill.
Yeah, we did more than we needed actually. So that was a good learning process. Like, you know, it's similar to what like our friend Kyle was explaining the other day, how energy like tries to like go
Find
through
the path
the
of least
path of least
resistance.
resistance. Basically, what we did was like shoot everywhere. Like,
Kamehameha.
but like then we found what was working, and we just like.
Nice.
And you know what? They are still using my recipes. The restaurants are still the concepts that we designed. They have still the cocktails that we created. For that consulting, we did breakfast menu, which was a buffet. We did lunch menu, and we did like a high-end upscale restaurant menu, which was themed to Darwin.
Oh yeah, Galapagos.
It was called Darwin's Secret, Galapagos Darwin, you know. And basically, what we did for that, we used only ingredients from the islands. So Galapagos is an archipelago. How do you say that? Like a group of islands. Archipelago, and each island has like its own micro ecosystems, and different products grow in
every
the small islands, right? And for example, where we were, it was San Cristobal, and there was like a lake, like in a small hill at the top. And around that, there used to be coffee, there used to be cocoa beans.
Really? Just naturally growing?
Naturally growing.
Wow.
Banana, oranges, goats, it's an invasive species. Berries are an invasive species as well. So we basically created a menu around those ingredients.
Including the invasive ones or just the natural?
Yeah, including the invasive ones. We had like a goat terrine that we did. Cool. Yeah, with the berries, of course, we did desserts.
Does that count as like, I don't know, like a carbon sequestering or like a protection of the environment, like conservation, if you're eating the goats and stuff?
Yeah.
The berries?
Because since the goats have no like natural predator, they were just like overpopulating and eating like a lot of grass and things that.
So from there you jumped to Korea?
No, bro. Korea was before finishing school.
Oh, so that was part of the the internships?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was part of the internships.
The good thing about Korea was it was also an opening. Like my role there specifically was just to create a menu for them. It gave me perspective on what an opening entails. So I had that experience, right? I wasn't really going blank to Galapagos because I opened the restaurant with my friend James that I met in Pujol in Korea. But I didn't really look into operations or like design or service, stuff like that, you know?
Like the business framework?
Yeah, I only created the menu, which was like very good.
So they had you very hands-on with the culinary side?
Yeah, like the creative R&D, yeah.
So when did you start pivoting to like the real nitty-gritty entrepreneurial stuff? Because you're one of the few people I've met when I talked to about like my plans and like systems or frameworks that I was studying. You had like a library of shit to pick from, and like a lot of influencers that I also was tuning into, but you had like ready to go documents and tools. Yeah. When did that start happening? Because obviously they don't really teach you that in school.
Right.
So you started digging for it somewhere.
Right after Galapagos, bro.
Yeah?
Yeah. After Galapagos, I saw an opportunity to maximize my income potential by doing consulting. Yeah. And like, of course, from doing a lot that was not needed, and I understood that like 20% of the things that you do give you 80% of the results.
Right.
I knew I had to learn more about strategy, business, sales. So I just started studying, bro, like from that point. Especially because like one of the pains that I had, and I still have that, is that after each consulting, I had nothing planned after. But that was only because of my lack of organization and my lack of, you could say, client
acquisition.
Yeah.
What do you mean nothing planned after? Like an onboarding or like?
I didn't have any systems, bro.
So you just like did the consulting, try to sell them?
I finished and I was like,
okay, now what?
Fuck, you know?
Okay.
And I'm still building those systems to this day.
Wait, what year was this?
What?
What year was this? Like
2022.
2022. Okay, the year before I mentioned.
Yeah.
Now, okay, this is getting a little specific now because I mean, I think it's interesting to tell our backstory, how we met.
Yeah.
When did you start getting into like the whole Capital Club scene and that realm of digital entrepreneurship?
I've always been looking into that ever since high school, honestly. I've always been like very connected to what was happening in the internet. I never really tried because I was skeptic about it. But then, I mean, of course, I went to San Diego because a consulting opportunity opened there. So I moved there. It was like summer of 2023, I think, if I'm not wrong. And I didn't know anyone. So I definitely saw Capital Club as an opportunity to meet people that are into the similar journey that I am. So
I'm kind of curious. What did you think when I reached out to you and I was like, yo, let's meet? And then what did you think after we met?
I never really make, it's weird that I make pre-assumptions of people. I don't really like waste time thinking about it, honestly.
I do that shit all the time. I judge every motherfucker. But
yeah, bro, like I cannot even think about something that I thought about you because like I really didn't, bro.
I would imagine that you were pretty busy too, because I remember meeting you and you were in the middle of a meeting with somebody that was like the front of the house and then the owner. And then you were like, oh, wait, hold up. I got a meeting with this guy. I'm going to talk to him really quick. I was like, what the fuck? Okay, I guess we're going to...
And this was like, actually, in the first 6 months of those projects, I met no one. I was just working in the restaurant.
So I can see why maybe you take the time to shift gears a little bit.
Because we met 2024, right?
No, I think we met at the end of 2023.
No.
Are you sure? Because I'm pretty sure I got into Capital Club in September of 2023. September, October, November, December.
Because like 2023 to 2024, I went to Colombia for that New Year's.
2023 to 20.
I think I met you like around February, March, bro.
It could be, yeah. Maybe I think I got in October, so it could have been a couple months after being in.
Yeah.
That I officially started looking for people.
Yeah.
So maybe, yeah. It was early 2024. So you're getting in the space, you start picking up new tools. I know what happened after that for the most part, because it seems like, after we met, it was just click, which is perfect. It's exactly what you want out of a, paid group entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
But, let's fill the people then. From the last year that I've met you, you finished Salt Lime, Tapiz. I know a couple others.
I'm working with Amuna now.
Amuna.
And then the client that I'm working with, Mongata, which is a hotel boutique here in Riviera Maya. The biggest project that I had so far. It's been like growing in size, Because the project in Galapagos was big. I'm not gonna lie, it was also a boutique hotel. But like Molino project, a small restaurant, say 20 sittings. Then Galapagos, even though it was a hotel, like the amount of people going there was like minimal because like it was Galapagos. It's expensive to get there, at least like 2K or more, and flights plus all the things you need to spend there. The night in the hotel was like $800.
Damn.
So there wasn't a lot of people there. Salt and Lime, bigger restaurant, like 60 seatings. Tapiz, even bigger, 120. And now the hotel here, there's 2 restaurants and up to 300 people. So it's been growing.
It's been scaling.
Yeah.
I've been definitely watching you learn a lot along the way.
Yep.
Cutting fingers, cutting ties with old employees, having to revamp systems that you already built. And it's been a fun process, David. It's been a fun process for sure, watching you grow.
Yeah.
I think the things that I've seen that are, usually most people struggles is like pushing a brand, building a story. Because like you have the correct frameworks, you have credentials, you have success with previous clients. But I was super interested yesterday watching you with the marketing team kind of like develop ideas on the spot and then trying to go execute them. How's that whole process been for you? And where do you see the future?
Honestly, it's something that it's not hard for me to come up with ideas, but I just don't have time, bro.
Right. Yeah.
So that's why I'm trying to outsource that creative process. But it's hard to find people that are able to quickly understand and know strategies to reach to your audience, right? Because at the end of the day,
Do you think it's because it's your niche?
yeah, it's the niche. At the end of the day, like the one that knows more about the niche, it's the owner of the company, right? So yeah, it's been like it's not hard to come up with ideas. What's hard is how to communicate the team that's supposed to come up with ideas on how to do it.
To kind of just let them follow a template or a framework?
Yeah, good, but I don't think that's even like
The right words?
sufficient. Yeah, I guess I even gave them like a breakdown of like the client persona, like a very like, 3 pages of like who's our target audience, what are their pains, what are they looking for, what are they thinking, you know, and like even that, like it's hard to come up with ideas that create impact and position your brand for sure. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's about giving value to, you hear this a lot, but
Like free value.
yeah, free value. Putting effort into building something that you know your target audience will appreciate and then giving it for free. Yeah.
Okay, so let's change gears a little bit. Let's change gears. You mentioned anime.
Yeah.
Let the people know what kind of nerd you are. Tell them where you spend your time investing into lore.
Anime, bro. Naruto was a role model for me
Yo.
from 5 years old forward.
Yo.
Yeah.
How many times have you seen Naruto?
How many times?
Yeah.
7,
Like its entirety?
probably.
Oh shit! Wow, you guys are.
Bro, but it's got like 1,000 episodes or something, right?
No, it's like 300 episodes.
He made it 1,000.
I mean, I've been watching it since I was 5 years old, so.
Yeah.
No, I think that's fair.
So what drew you to the anime scene? Like you're a beaner.
Yeah. What got me into the anime scene?
What brings all beaners to anime? Like why do all Mexicans just love anime? What happened here?
Beaner?
Did I hear?
Frijolero.
Bro, I don't know.
Para la gente que habla español. Frijolero.
Pero no todos, de hecho es muy poco.
Ay, un chingo, no mames, güey.
Sí hay, pero como en todos lados, yo creo.
For me, it was more the idea of surpassing my limits. And I feel anime always portrays that in all series. Like, just like you have a big challenge, you're like being like broken down, you're a struggle, but like you say, fuck it, I'm gonna break my limits and I'm gonna be better, you know?
The hero's journey.
Yeah. And like with Naruto specifically, I feel it's like, you could say a paradox, because like when he's conscious, he's like a person that will do everything for his friends, right? Because he's lonely and he just wants to create real connections with people. But then he has like this demon inside him. And when he goes out of control, he doesn't know like who's who and he hurts everyone. And like the series goes about him learning to overcome that demon inside of him and to bring him on his side to be able to serve a higher purpose, right? And the closer he becomes to, like, you could say controlling or being at peace with that demon inside of him, he's able to bring more people together to his life, you know? And the series is just about that story of like, okay, I understand that I want to serve people, but to be able to do that, I need to like be at peace with my own demons. And in that way, I'll be able to bring more value to the people that I want to bring more value to. So that's where I learned from.
Deep, bro. I didn't expect you to get so deep. I was trying to change the pace, so you got deeper. Wait. What's give me some type of analogy like that for One Piece, or you just like it because it's fun?
Bro, One Piece, I feel One Piece is literally the Matrix, bro.
I don't know anything about One Piece,
Bro,
other than what you showed me like a couple minutes here and there.
One Piece like presents every single problem that the world has today.
Okay.
Wars, poverty, what else? Injustice, people that are like the elite and they
That's right.
and they see other
told me
people
about
like
that.
dogs, like cattle, you know? And there's this group of people who are just, you could say,
Privateers.
fighting for their own perception of justice, but they're like super friendly and they are like very centered in their principles, of like nakamas, of friendship. And if they create a bond with someone, they will protect that person to that. So it's like a crew that put a lot of like value into human life and human liberation, because they themselves are super free of any attachment. Like they're like a pirate group, even though they're powerful, they're just free of like the outcome. They just want to experience and free as much people as they can in their way to bring them into this liberation perception of reality. Yeah.
That's a new.
And you see a lot of similarities of like, wow, like what's an example? What's happening in Gaza right now?
Oh damn, we should.
Yeah. You see a lot of similarities of with in the anime with that. Yeah.
Yes.
Exploitation, people controlling resources. And
All the mass media.
I feel there's a quote of, let me look it up. Do Flamingo. I'm gonna read it. Quote about justice. Let me see. Here it is. Pirates are evil. The Marines are righteous. These terms have always changed throughout the course of history. Kids who have never seen peace and kids who have never seen war have different values. Those who stand at the top determine what's wrong and what's right. This very place is a neutral ground. Justice will prevail, you say, but of course it will. Whoever wins this war becomes justice.
Whoever wins this war becomes justice. That kind of boils down to the same thing as like the history is written by the winners.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that. It's like a parallel story to the real world.
Yeah. And it's funny because like usually Luffy's crew, Luffy's the main character.
They're pirates, right?
Yeah, they're pirates, bro, but whenever they arrive into an island, for some reason, bro, Luffy gets like, becomes friend with like a little kid from that island, and then he noticed that they've been suffering for like 20 years. And he's like, oh, since you're my friend, I'm gonna fuck them over. This is not just. And they go through like fucking a lot of struggle, and it's almost like if the government knew that was happening, but they were like just looking away.
Yeah, right.
And every time they like liberate or solve a problem, they target Luffy because like he's like liberating people.
So it sounds like these stories just really got the archetypes down.
Yeah.
Like the hero's journeys from the Odyssey or from the Bible or whatever it is that you're reading, the Vedas.
Yeah.
And that kind of brings me to the final topic that I wanted to cover with you, which is more of the esoteric, spiritual, metaphysical space. I've had a relationship with David for about a year and some change now. I've gotten to know him on a bit of an intimate level, and never have I ever seen him so intrigued with anything metaphysical as he is now. And he mentioned to me that he had a friend that he's working with at Moongata that was into coordinate remote viewing and a bit of like the Eastern philosophies of metaphysics. And we've been working there, showing up every day, and I've been kind of trying to figure out who it was, just kind of eyeing around without asking because I didn't want to like seek it out. And then you told me, well, you just had a conversation with Sarman right in front of me, and I was like, oh, it's this guy. Like I would have never guessed it was this guy, but there he is. And I see now why you've become very intrigued, and I want to know like what your process is right now and like where you see yourself going into that space. And
of course, it comes from an understanding that we're not limited to the physical world, and like we definitely have like lost skills and lost knowledge that maybe it's been like purposely hidden from us, Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm just curious to explore the actual human capacities, because we're created from the image of God, right? So to believe that we're limited to just like this, the things that we perceive, I think it's a very narrow way of seeing the world. So yeah, man, I'm just like curious of exploring this area of like life only with the purpose of understanding God better. That's like the only purpose that I look into.
do you feel like you've kind of reached
Diving
a
into
limit?
that. What?
Do you feel like you've kind of reached a limit with how much you know now, and then you've seen like some potential to know more?
I mean, no, bro, honestly, of course, I've been lazy with reading scripture and like books about faith. But, we were seeing a video the other day about mystical Christianity. about intuition, about being silent and connected with
Black eye.
God. And I feel I've always had that relationship with God, not necessarily a very literal relationship with Him in terms of like reading the Bible, knowing all the verses by memory. I've always had like this moments of silence in where I've just talked to God and He talked to me and He advises things throughout my day, you know? So I feel that definitely exploring that higher levels of consciousness will allow me to be more connected to God. So, yeah.
And everybody watching, if you're curious about this stuff, do so cautiously. Do so at a steady pace. If any of you watch the Are No Excuses channel, there's going to be some clips of us talking about what's on there, on that USB drive right there. And also, at some point, there'll be a mini podcast with Sarman.
Yeah. You know what's funny, bro? Like, for some reason, I started reading Jacobo Greenberg book about Pachita. And I got curious because Jacobo was a neuroscientist. And he heard about Pachita and he was a skeptic about it. He has like a bunch of like scientific publications. It's a very well-respected neuroscientist. He hears about this shaman woman in Oaxaca and he's like, no, this is bullshit. Like, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna prove that this is bullshit. And when he goes there, he lives with Pachita for like 3 months, I think, maybe more. And he gets exposed to this different realities that he thought were impossible. He gets exposed to just all the skills and I'd say special powers that Pachita has. Like, he just creates this theory about, based off of that, like he created this theory. I don't know a lot about this topic because I'm just like starting to learn about it, but like the systems of energy. And he basically speaks about the lattice, that is like the structure of the whole universe, and how our brain has the same structure, meaning that like we are part of the whole and the whole is part of us, you know?
It's like a harmonic.
So
resonance.
With that logic, we can like sort of like infer that we're capable of connecting with other parts of the universe at a higher level. Evidence of that was his time with Pachita, because Pachita was able to sort of like diagnose people illnesses just by watching them. She will know like what they had and what to do. She will perform like surgeries with just a fucking knife, and after the surgery, she will like close them and give them no scar, and they will be healed. Of course, some of them require like more sessions, right? But like he just had like a lot of like mystical experiences with Pachita. And I think what's most notable about the book is that he speaks as Pachita being like an open source towards different spiritual beings. And the one performing the operation was not actually Pachita, but was Moctezuma that came into the body of Pachita, and he will perform the surgeries to people. Yep. Yeah.
It's not particular, huh? There's like an essence of energy that carries a potency.
Because at the end of the day, like everything we see, it's a system of energy arranged in a specific manner.
Which is why I was asking you earlier about like nixtamalization.
Yeah.
From the physical properties and the historic side, like it's a level of understanding.
Yeah.
But episode 1, watch, with Lalo, he goes deep into like the spiritual, the traditional, and like the metaphysical aspects of what it means to understand that level of knowledge and then pass down the information. And it's not really by any means of like physical mediums. It's like by an exchange of energy. Does that essence live on? So it's like timeless. And like I thought it was hilarious. He was like, yeah, do you know why people can't replicate this? Do you know why like nobody's doing this on a mass scale and everybody's fermenting sourdough and bread? And I was like, no, why? He was like, because there's no records. There's no records. For thousands of years, it just existed between me and you and them and her, predominantly between mother and daughter. for some reason is just stronger in a feminine essence. And I was like, there's something powerful there.
Yeah.
Something powerful that like the people of this region have tapped into by understanding, like you said, from a young age, you wanted to serve and be connected with God, i.e. nature.
Right. Yeah. And honestly, what I said about that, it's just like me creating ideas based off my understanding, you know? And I think that's the case as well. We'll never know why they were doing what they were doing until we go there and see it, you know? So,
Or you go back there.
yeah, you go back there.
Like Sarman was saying, it's like I've had the privilege of being able to speak to the archetypes of the past, like the famous ones. And I was like, what do you mean, like Alexander the Great or something? And he was like, okay, I'm down, you know.
I'm down.
Yeah,
Da Vinci, pull up.
I would love to have a conversation. Dude, I was obsessed with Da Vinci for years. If I could have a conversation with Da Vinci, it would be a long and dragged out one. Where all the memory cards, where all the battery dies, but you try to keep going.
Yeah.
I think we covered a pretty good amount right here.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for joining us. This has been another episode of Our New Limits. And don't forget that if you choose to, you can push beyond what you perceive. And in this life, there are no limits. Thank you for having us, David. Let the people know where they can find you.
They can find me at foodhub.io on Instagram or jdavid.castro _.
Peace, everybody.
Woo!
El diablo.